Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another episode 22 of the P.W.P Sessions podcast. I'm your host, Nwele Figueroa. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Once again, I have the honor and privilege of asking a fellow poet to return for another episode. Due to technical difficulties with a previous episode, I asked them to come back to re-record. So I'm honored and grateful to have once again L. David to grace my podcast. Thank you all so much for the opportunity to come through. Before we get started, I'm just going to do a few preliminaries as I share my screen. Okay, as I mentioned, this is episode 22. And for those not familiar with this podcast, this is a podcast where I interview new or established poets, authors of poetry, and I feature a performance of their work along with an audience Q&A session at the end of the interview. I'm your host, Nwele Figueroa. I am a poet, author, blogger, workshop facilitator, and event host. I am the creator of the P.W.P Sessions. And tonight's guest is L. David, and this is his bio. L. David is an award-winning Nuyorican poet from the Bronx, New York, who now resides in Chicago. He is also a music producer, director of world music band Machete Movement, and a visual artist. He is the author of poetry collections Ibaye Padrino, Growing Up Rican, Hip Hop Made, and The Outlaw of Poetry. His works are also included in What They Leave Behind, edited by Vanessa Chica Ferreria, Outbursts of Horror with Manuel Melendez, Menorablo with Accento, edited by Emmanuel Xavier, The Bandana Republic, edited by Luis Reyes Rivera and Bruce George, the VX Files, and Inside the Panic Room, both edited by L. David. He was awarded, He was awarded Erythro Poet of the Year by 2017 Tino Awards in New York. He is a founding member of LCAP Productions, an entertainment and publishing house. As a curator and host, L. David hosted the Spoken Word Open Mic Series in New York, Queens Lit Crawl, National Coquito Festival, and Outlaws of Poetry series. He now hosts the groundbreaking Pass the Mic series and the Urban Beat Poetry Society Open Mic. L is currently working on his new collection, Where I'm From. So now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, once again, I introduce L. David. Hey, bro, good evening. How you doing today?
How you doing, brother? Good to be back. Let's do it again, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Glad to have you back, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, brother.
Awesome. So I'm going to start off just like I do with previous guests. Who is L. David? Like, how would you describe yourself or define yourself?
All right. So first and foremost, I'm a human being. I'm a man and a father, a husband, and when it comes to what I do, I'm a poet, a writer, an MC, producer, a visual artist, and yeah, I'm just a dude, man. You know, when it comes down to it, I just want to be human, you know.
Right. That's what's up. Now, what got you interested in poetry? Like, what was that spark or that moment that made you feel that this was something that you wanted to do for yourself?
So the first time I got into poetry was when I was in the third or fourth grade, and I was crushing on my student teacher. As she started teaching poetry, she had a guest person come in and teach some poetry styles, and I wrote a poem, a love poem about her. And then she loved it, and she kept saying, "Are you sure you really wrote this? Are you sure you really wrote this?" And it made me. I then forgot about the crush and got more. You know, now I was crushing on words, and I was like,
Right.
"Is that good?" I was just, you know, trying to impress her. But then I started to fall in love with it. Then, like in the '70s, I got a taste of spoken word with music when I heard Funkadelics, the Doodoo Chasers. And George Clinton did a great spoken word piece in there, and I got hooked on it and lit a fire under me, and I was into spoken word ever since then. And you know, being born in the Bronx and raised in the Bronx and the Upper West Side of Manhattan, you know, hip hop was everywhere. So hip hop, rap, you know, hip hop is a culture, but the art form of rap is a form of poetry. And I got into that as well. And you know, that's what people need to understand. Also, rap is a form of poetry, just as the poets of Greece that everybody honors in collegiate circles is considered poetry, and everything that they did was to music, you know. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Now, when you first started writing, what were the first subjects that you covered?
So the first, I mean, I wrote a lot of it depends. If you're talking about from my younger age, it was a lot of love poems and, you know, about what I was going through. And when I got like into my teenage years, I got more radical. I got more into activism and, you know, writing about racism and police brutality and culture. And later on, it became such a part of me writing that it was like breathing. It was just something. It was my hand putting down on paper whatever I was feeling, whatever that day inspired me to put down. So if I was angry, you know, that's what I wrote about it. I don't consider myself like I don't put myself in a box. So what I write about is whatever motivates me, angers me, makes me sad, happy, excited, anything that moves me. That's what I write about now. So
that's what's up. So would you say one of your motivations to write is to have an outlet for your feelings and your emotions?
Absolutely. I always say everything on its way up is on its way out. And it's a form of release. And you know, I live with anxiety, you know, so, and I keep it in check that way, you know, so there's times that it captures me, but I haven't, you know, since my 20s been to a point where I cannot do what I do because of anxiety. I hosted the most popular open mic in the Bronx for 2 years. And I would take moments in the bathroom where I would have like an anxiety attack, and I would stare at the wall and like calm myself down. But then, you know, I remember who I am and what I do, and then I would release it in that way. I would release it with the words, you know.
Yeah, that's what's up. And I can agree with that, because I'm the same way in terms of, you know, using poetry as an outlet to release feelings and emotions and to help get perspectives on whatever the subject matter is at the moment. So I'm definitely all for that, because it does help. It is a form of therapy to a degree. Now, who or what would you give credit to as far as, you know, helping you develop, you know, your skill as an author and a poet?
I mean, there's a lot of inspirations in my life. In high school, I mean, like I said, George Clinton, you know, that was the first inspiration to me, and he did. I kind of when I first started out, wanted to write like that. I wanted to write a little cryptic but understandable, and in a way that disturbed people enough to hear what I'm saying. Like Chuck D from Public Enemy said, you know, in order for people to hear what you're trying to say, you got to be louder than the bomb. So that's where I was at that moment. In high school, I met P.W.P, Thomas, and you know, he loved my writing. You know, when he came to visit the school, and he told me, you know, you're going to be a writer. Never stop. And he was one of my, you know, writing heroes. You know, I read his short stories. I read, you know, Down These Mean Streets, and I really wanted to be able to write like that one day. So he was a big inspiration to me. You know, then going along the way, you know, everybody who I encounter in my life gives me, you know, adds a little bit to who I am and how I develop. Advocate of Words, Chulisi, Andre Chulisi Rodriguez, Peggy Robles Alvarado, Vanessa Chica, all these people, these great poets that I was blessed to be around and work with, you know, added to who I am today. I remember when I first met Chulisi, you know, I was I mean, not to sound cocky, but I was, you know, looked up to by a lot of poets. Like, oh, this guy's hot. And then Chulisi was like, no. He heard me spit it. He was like, no, way too fast. He goes, you got to slow it down. You got to slow it down. That was okay, but you got to slow it down. That was like, he punched me in my ego, you know, and I was like, and I respected that. And that, and my wife, you know, she was also another one who slowed me down. So he told me I got to slow down. My wife showed me how to slow down when I do what I do. And yeah, so those for the biggest inspirations in poetry for me, in poetry would be that kind of shaped me would be Andre Tulisi Rodriguez, Advocate of Words, Roya Marsh, and my wife, you know, because she's my lightning rod, you know. She's that gives me my energy, and calms me down and grounds me.
Yeah, that's what's up. And it definitely helps to have that, you know, support system that's able to give you, you know, positive critique and, you know, and help shape yourself as an author. So that's what's up. That's definitely on point. Now, the book projects that you've released up until this point, would you consider all of those projects self-published?
No, well, they're not all self-published. My first time being published was actually the Bandana Republic, which was published by Luis Reyes Rivera and the co-founder of Def Poetry Jam, Bruce George. So that was the first time I was published. And after that, I did self-publish, and I was also published in a couple other anthems that were not self-published. However, and I've said this many times, and I'll always say it, I love self-publishing. I think there's nothing more real than self-publishing. Even the errors in the books are beautiful because it's real. It's a person putting his own opinion of what is worth being read on paper without some big corporation or some other publisher outside of himself telling him what's good enough to be read. You know, it's an independent thing. It's you being strong enough to say this is good enough to put out into the world. So I'm a big advocate of self-publishing, and I have a beef with even with our own people when it comes to self-publishing anything. Like if you have a book or you have artwork or you have music, we run so much towards the big labels and publications and Viacom, and we forget the beautiful seated poets out there and artists that are just because you're so, you know, we got so hooked on hearing what's, you know, played over and over and over on these radio stations and what's posted in billboards that we forget to support our own people that are putting beautiful independent work out there.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Now, would you say you have a preference between the two? Would you say you prefer self-publishing over the traditional route of publishing?
Oh, I definitely love self-publishing. And I always say, you know, if, you know, don't wait for opportunities, create your own. And I love not having somebody tell me what's going to be put in my book. Mm-hmm. I love, you know, I'm not making millions on my book, right? But I get a check all the time, constantly, right? And it's not a lot, but it's never about the money for me. And when it becomes about the money, I remember bringing up Tulisi again. You know, he said whenever it starts becoming about the money, stop doing it. You know, and I totally agree with that. So self-publishing for me is more real. It's more beautiful, and it's art in itself. It's a piece of art to put something out there yourself. You tell an artist like I'm a visual artist, and you get someone, you know, who puts a piece of visual art out there that's abstract. People will look at that person. He may have a drawing where a face is distorted, and to him that's art, and to a lot of people that's art. And some people may say that's ridiculous, right? But it should be the same way with writing. Like in self-publishing, it's the same thing as a piece of visual artwork. You're putting yourself the way you feel it should be written in a book without anybody's approval, without anybody's judgment. You know, you just say, this is what I put together, and you put your stamp on it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because when you put out something yourself, you know, you get to have the pride of seeing that it's something that you accomplished on your own terms, and you determine who your audience is and how you want to present yourself. So there is a greater satisfaction in that regard, most definitely. Now name drop for a minute. Like who are the poets that move you? You know, who are the ones that, who are the poets that you gravitate to, or who really, you know, motivate you to push your pen, in your opinion?
Portia O, Roya Marsh, Advocate of Words, Peggy Robles Alvarado, of course, Vanessa Chica. Oh my God, Rebecca Lois Lucret, she's amazing. And I'm really waiting for her book. She does a poetry that visually takes you places. God, there's so many that really move me. There's a lot. I can't even name them all. It would be unfair to even try to do that. I'm inspired. I will be name dropping forever. We will have no time left on this show.
That's what's up, though. It's good. It's good to have a solid variety of inspiration. No doubt, I'm feeling that. Now, of all the subjects that you choose to write about, do you feel that there's certain subjects that you like writing about more than others?
No. What I do like, I as I mentioned before, what I like writing is more than anything else is whatever's from the heart. So whatever's from the gut. So I like to write from pain. I like to write from love. I like to write from joy. And writing from a prompt, it took me years to be able to want to do that. I used to fight it, you know. My wife, Latanya Devon, Vanessa Chica could tell you I fought workshops. I would not do workshops for a long time because I was like, no, that's forced. I can't do that. And then I took the Full Circle workshop by Latanya and Vanessa Chica, and I learned so much from it. And I thought, oh, this is great, you know, and it's a beautiful thing, and I recommend it for everybody. However, of the two, I'd rather write from the gut. I'd rather write from the heart. But as far as topic wise, I can say this. I like to move people. Like I said, when Public Enemies Chuck D said, hey, you know, if you want to wake somebody up, you gotta be louder than the bomb. I like to do that. I like to shock people sometimes, you know, so that they think about what I'm saying. A lot of times people will ask me what a certain poem is about. And sometimes I won't answer because I want that poem to mean whatever it means for that person, you know. And that's the same thing with the question you're asking is, I like to do things that make you think about it, that you want to know what it's about, you know, something that makes people think. But as far as a concrete subject, no.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Now, how important is it for you to share your thoughts and your experiences when you're dealing with race, when you're dealing with gender, ethnicity, you know, life experiences, you know, your political views, you know, things of that nature? How important is it for you to make sure that you're expressing yourself in your totality?
It's extremely important. I mean, I think I say a lot. I don't like, and I don't feel poetry should be censored anyway. And I feel like poetry is something, you know, from the heart, you know, it's the rhythm of imagination, and you got to let that out. And there's a thing, there's a kind of therapy that John Lennon partook in that was called primal therapy, and that was screaming until you feel better. And I feel that way about poetry. Like if there's something wrong in this world and you just hold it in, you're gonna hold that in until it destroys you, until it eats you alive. And also, you know, the world, you can't change the world if you don't change yourself first, right? And you know, I have to put on paper what I believe is right and wrong in this world. So like I do write a lot about gender equality. I write a lot about women's rights. I write about my faith and my history and my culture, because for two reasons. One, I want to make a change in the world. Even if I'm just one person, I'm going to change somebody's mind, and I don't want to change their mind. I want to wake them up to what is right for them. I want to let them know what I feel is wrong or injustice or good, you know, and whatever the case is in my writing. And I want them to feel what I'm saying and hopefully it triggers them to make the right decision for them. And I can't do that, you know, if I hold what I feel is if I don't do something because it's political, or I don't do something because it's going to offend somebody, or I don't, yeah, if I don't write a poem because it's not going to be pleasing to the person or the institution that I'm spitting this poem at, then I'm cheating myself, you know. And if I'm cheating myself and my objective is to make a change, I'm cheating everybody else as well.
All right. That's what's up. That's what's up. And there's no question that, you know, it's important to, you know, maintain your authenticity with you know, with not just what you're talking about, but who you are as a person as well. Because I think most definitely people gravitate to us poets when we make a decision to be transparent. So I definitely feel in you on that. Awesome. Now at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask L. David to take the mic. Now, bro, at this time, you can take the floor and you can share up to 5 poems of your choosing to give our audience an idea of who you are and what your poetry style is like. So at this time, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, brother. So if you were here some of you were here last time, so I didn't want to, you know, cheat you out of some, you know, work. So I'm going to be doing all different than what I did last time. And I will just say the title and go into the piece and continue. This is called The First Time. The first time racism touched me, I was only a child. It burned my insides like venom, forced through the blood in my veins, parting red seas with white malice. A dirty, only Yemaya could wash clean. A home invasion. I did not invite it into this house, this vessel, this miracle of life. It tasted like whispered death, smelled like burnt scriptures. It felt like smoke in my lungs. This house was on fire. It felt in that moment like I was not living. I was only surviving. It felt like the blood of African bodies tossed into the sea by enslavers luring ocean beasts to feed on them. Skin gold as the sacred sands of Playa Combate felt like viscous tar, thick and unclean. I could not move through it. It resisted flow. The love for ancient skin inscribed with generations of greatness briefly forgotten. Pride, no longer sweet, became a sour taste in my mouth I thought could not be washed away. I died inside in that moment. Then I rose. I am a resurrection too formidable to annihilate. 256 Odu are written in my DNA. They cannot be transfused. You cannot appropriate this soul. In this body, the names of my ancestors are legion. I breathe tempest winds of Oya. My blood is thicker than mud and it flows like rivers of Oshun. This is my house. Fear cannot rest here. Fear is not welcome here. And I do not need to change the locks to this home because fear never had the keys. This one's called Sun. Sun, despite the beatific words painted with star-dusted tongue strokes of revered poets, women are not flowers for men to pick or instruments to be played. Despite locker room smack, women are not stepping stones to manhood. They are not countries to be conquered, nor notches on belts. The only notches on your belt should be the signs of growth. They are not chosen, they choose. And if you are chosen, you are blessed. Thank the universe for the sanctification. Recognize God has shared a piece of herself with you. They cannot be transfused. You cannot appropriate this soul. And when she says no, carve the cliche, no means no, into your flesh. So that if memory fails you, there is a stop sign marked on your skin. If she desires your affection and your heart, has no home for her. Remind her she is beautiful. She is creation and need not become a feast that you would dig into. Remind her that she is a key that fits perfectly into another's locked heart, one worthy of her just as she is. Emphasize that you are reminding her, not teaching her, because in the depths of her soul, she already knows that deep inside are the secrets of life, a deep no man could ever imagine. Son, remind her she is the reason the heart beats. Remind her she is not an appetizer, not a prize, not a victim. Remind her she is the answer to prayer. She is the breath that fills lungs. She is the sustainer of all bloodlines. And she owes nothing but all that we owe to her. Remind her that she is more than blandishments of men. Remind her that she is magic. This is called God. I feel like I've met God before. I mean, I think I know God very well. I am pretty sure that on many occasions I've smoked God in anointed leaves. I was risen and kissed heaven on those days. I am positive that I've touched God before in consecrated flesh. You might say that I've entered God on euphoric rides to ecstasy. I know that I've tasted God, had my fill of God, had my God of filling in sabrosuras that could satiate a wild beast. My God, that was good. And I have held God, cradled God in my arms, warm and glowing, watched God give birth to God. I watched God grow. You see, I raised God. I'm not a religious man. Man, I religiously look for God in nooks and dark corners, in flesh and flames, because every zealot says God is everywhere, that God is in everything, and I am not one to wait for revelations. I don't think God needs to be read or quoted by scribes. I think she needs to be felt. Maybe the key to healing the madness of this world is you seeing the God in me and I in you. This is Black woman. Their stories are translucent. Their names loaded like Russian roulette. One name in the barrel spun, trigger pulled, typically click, no bang. If lucky, you might catch one to the dome that wakes you momentarily. You might catch a couple that leak through the cracks from justice-starved corpses pressed against the back of empire walls, but for the most part, their names fade to black. The best magicians cannot match the disappearing act of slaughtered Black woman accounts. They, at best, become legends, bones buried deep inside impenetrable sarcophagi. Their pain wilted with the last carnation petal that draped the lid. Their songs carried away with gone tomorrow winds. This tradition we have become accustomed to through centuries of being engrossed with his story, while few ever ask about her story. The pillars of the earth, the mothers of the universe, the givers of life, the reason for our existence. How could she be all that and not have a story to tell? If God walks the earth, then God's name is Black woman, and they to whom we owe everything are trampled over, held under spiked heel, forgotten, unwritten. Black woman, stripped the breath. I love you. You matter. And finally, excuse me. Don't want to leave you on such intense reading, so we're gonna do the last one. Soy títere. I do not spit Spanish at the speed of light. My feet are unorthodox to that 3-2 clave ritmo my gente so feverishly cut rugs to. Honestly, I am more Lennon than Lavo, more funkadelic than Fania, not Puerto Rican enough, for the self-proclaimed real ones, as if the beat of barriles does not vibrate my bones, as if Arawak blood has not left legends of caciques in my skin, as if the Coqui song was not the anthem of my soul. It's okay. Sin vergüenza, I am of a new breed, reconstructed, raised by New York streets, bound to the hood like puppets on strings, callejero, spitting hip-hop slang over beats and breaks. My poetry was birthed in the midst of outlaw combat, in inner city blues, OE and spark trees, and ghetto ciphers of on-the-edge rebels, schooled me in the art of resurrection, of getting back up from the knockdowns. I love my Rican blood, like the real ones love their Spanish tongue. I learned to map Taino pride in my DNA from street soldiers whose lineage was the gap they were strapped with. Those heated stares and sentencing slurs do not scar me. Soy de New Yorko, boogie down boulevards and Upper West Side sets, urban beat poet, don't get it crooked with pride. I represent. Soy títere, soy títere, soy títere, con poesía matonique. Thank you.
Yo, can we talk about how lit those poetics were? Like, oh my God. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta apologize for that second piece. I was going back into the first one.
Oh man, yo, ladies and gentlemen, that was the lit poetics from L. David. Awesome. Bravo, man. That's awesome material. Awesome material. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now after that awesome session, we're now going to move into the Q&A portion of the show. So at this time, those of you that are on the line, if you have a question or comment for L. David, feel free to unmute yourself at this time and share your question or comment. Anyone on the line that has a question or comment they'd like to share?
I have a question. What's next for you?
Right now, I'm working on my next collection, which is called Where I'm From, which is all poetry, poetic pieces of where I'm from the my experiences growing up in the Bronx, the people, the culture, the attitudes, the love, the joy, the hate, all that. It's gonna take a while. And I started that after a workshop by Rebecca Lois Lucret, and it inspired me to put this together. And it's like the last two collections that I did is kind of biographical. It is biographical. So yeah, I'm really excited about that one. That's my next one. You know, we haven't done a lot of events as the Urban Beat and LCAT Productions recently because we had, you know, we're trying to get back in our feet after moving and systems getting damaged, and we're almost there thanks to a beautiful donor who helped out. I'm more than halfway there. But yeah, we're gonna continue with the Urban Beat and LCAT open mics, special events, pass the mic. Of course, we're gonna keep doing that, and yeah, I'm gonna keep writing.
Awesome, that's what's up. Thanks, Nia, for that question. Anyone else have a question or comment?
Just want to say you did great, baby.
Thank you, love. That's
Yeah,
my
awesome. Hey,
that's
Catalina.
My son right there. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Beautiful. Thank you for tuning in to the show tonight. Thank you so much. Anyone else like to share a question or a comment? Well, there's one, I do have a question in particular. What do you intend or what do you hope to accomplish with your writing?
I mean, same as before. Number one, first and foremost, I do it for me. I do it for my release, and to be able to not bottle up what I'm feeling. And second of all, a lot of my work, I wish to bring awareness to people of things that I feel are unjust. I also like to share with people when I'm feeling down, and I have a lot of poetry that I have a blackened heart where I feel that my confidence is down, and I share that too, because we're all human and we all have both. We have the confident moments, and then we have the moments when, ah, man, I gotta give up, you know. So you know, soy ser humano, and I want to be that with my peers. You know, we're both human, no matter how talented we are. And you know, these poets are not alone. And with my writing, sometimes I want them to know that I'm just like them, especially when you look like me. You know, and when I do have a successful moment, when I won that Areito award, I remember saying, this was the most important award I ever won, more than a visual art award that was 24 karat medal, because it was about honoring people that look like me. And it's important that someone who does what I do as a young child looks at me and sees me be successful, because it gives them the confidence and faith to be able to do the same thing.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, before we close out, is there anyone else that would like to share a question or a comment?
What is your writing process, or do you have any rituals for writing?
The most ritualistic thing I do, and I don't know if you can call it a ritual, is writing at witching hour. I will do most of my writing at 2 or 3 in the morning. Just last night, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was just watching my wife sleep, and she looked so beautiful, and I had to capture that moment in words. And I wrote a poem about her, because it was in that moment. So for me, the best, if you want to call it a ritual, and it used to be, I used to make sure I get up at 2 or 3 in the morning just to write, because you know, that was the time when everything that I was feeling was just flowing through me.
Awesome. That's what's up. Thank you for that question, Nia. All right. If there's no other questions or comments, El David, can you share with the audience where you can be found on social media?
Yeah. So most importantly, I mean, I'm on Instagram, LDavidEK. I do a lot of videos of my work there to share with everybody. You can see most of my works there. But most importantly, the work I do with my wife, LCAP Productions and Urban Beat Poet Society, with my wife, Tamara, not my wife, Tamara, my wife, Catalina, and our partner, Tamara. On Facebook, it's the Urban Beat Poet Society. Check it out, join the group. That's where all our events are. We pride ourselves in what my wife coined. She coined the motto for us, which is, we will always do that which moves the heart. So, you know, we never promoted somebody because they were popular or because they were famous. We said, this person is good, we want to feature them. A lot of people that have gotten big or well-known, I should say, did their first feature with us because nobody was going to give them a chance. And we're going to stay true. Like, this is the actual motto, is staying true to what moves the heart and soul. And we're going to continue to do that. We're going to find our features and artists that move the heart and soul, not just by their name or their clique or the company they keep, you know, but just by who they are and the works that they present.
That's what's up. Okay, I see in the chat, Rebecca is asking if you're going to be returning to the Pass the Mic series.
Oh, absolutely. That's actually one of my favorite series. You know, it's funny you said that, because I do want to do I do want to pass the mic myself with Anthony Morales. I love that. You know, I know it's not supposed to always be me, but there's 2 times I want to come back with that. I want to do Thomas Fucularo again. because we had an event that night afterwards, and we kind of rushed that. And that's one of my favorite poets, you know. And that was that was so fun for me. So I would like to do that with him and Anthony. I also would love to do it with Billy Tuggle. So yeah, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna continue to pair people up. But I'm going to selfishly insert myself into these Pass the Mics because it's my favorite series. And you know, to be honest, there was a time when me and my wife was like, maybe the show should just be you passing the mic with somebody else. You know, I write every single day, every day. So I have 1,000 poems. So wow. I gotta put them somewhere. But wow. Yeah, so selfishly, I love that series, and I'm gonna insert myself in there. But of course, we're also gonna continue to promote good people and put two like-minded poets and artists together.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Oh, one other thing. Feel free to mention. Do you have anything on your calendar coming up, like any events you're featuring at, or you know, any other projects going on in addition to the book that you mentioned?
No, actually, we took a long break. All three of us, Tamara, myself, and my wife, we took a break from doing any what do you call that, events where we have, you know, that are not like just writing. And it was purposeful. It was to give ourselves a break from the norm and to refocus and recenter. And it was a beautiful thing. And it was, you know, not just because you know, our systems were down. That was not the only reason. We were going to take the whole winter off anyway. But right now, my main purpose, my main goal is to write this book, and I'm working on that now. And I do have one more thing that's coming up, and I'm so excited about. It's kind of like what you're doing here. Like what Tamara does for Urban Beat, you know, an interview show. But it's not going to be a regular interview show. It's going to be some fun. It's gonna be some games, and we're gonna have a good time with it. Like when I say we, I mean my poetic family, the Full Circle, the LCAP Productions family, you know, my New York circle. When we get together outside of poetry, we have a blast and we act stupid and we have a fun time. And I wanted to bring that fun to an event where you can not just see the work that a person does, but the person that person is. So I wanted to ask questions that are not just about the work they do, but who they are as a person, and have some laughs with it, you know. So that's going to start in February, and our first guest is going to be Vanessa Chica.
Nice.
And
nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be real fun. And you know, there's a lot of people in this community, like I said, that don't get the shine, you know, that they should, or don't get even presented. And they're amazing people. And I want to interview those people, you know, and have fun with them, you know, not just you know, I like to always do something new and different, and at the same time, I'm a clown. Anybody who knows me will tell you, you know, yeah, I can get serious with the poetry. You know, I'm a serious person, but like all of us, there's more than one side to us, and I can be a foolish person, and we all can. And I wanted to have fun with people in that way, and that's why I'm putting this out.
Well, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. It's good to hear you got all that going on in the pipeline. You know, much respect to you. So as we close, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this moment before we wrap up for the night to first and foremost say thank you. Thank you, El David. Thank you so much for coming through. Glad to have this do-over for this episode. And once again, you brought the fire. And I'm glad.
Thank you, brother. And
I'm
thank
so
you,
glad
man.
I was able to get this.
Thank you for what you do. Let me tell you, this platform that you're providing is very much needed. It was an inspiration to me, to be honest, you know, for what I'm doing, you know, it's going to start doing next month. And I really appreciate you. We love this show. We watched the episodes. It's been a pleasure doing this twice. And hey, not many people get to do it again, where they say, you know, sometimes you get interviewed and then you go, damn, I should have said this. You know.
Right,
So
right.
hey, it was a blessing. I got a do over. So and thank you again. You know, I really appreciate you and everything you do, your shows and your workshops, all that. It's a great thing that you're putting out there, man.
Yeah, awesome, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, because I definitely had to have you come through again to make sure that this was recorded properly. You know, that because I want to make sure that all my guests have access to their interview. So it wouldn't have been fair for me to not give you the opportunity to do this again. So I thank you again for coming through, and I'm glad to be able to get this down from beginning to end. And and this recording will be available on my YouTube channel within the hour or so for everybody to have access to. So I thank my guest, L. David. For those of you that want to connect with Poets with Purpose, you can find me on Facebook under the same name, Poets with Purpose, on Twitter @PoetsWPurpose, YouTube channel Poets with Purpose, and I recently joined Clubhouse, that's @The Anointed Pen. Next episode is to be announced, and for more information about my podcast or my workshop, you can call me at 646-372-6230 or email me at poetswithpurpose@gmail.com. Lastly, all of my flyers and logos have been designed by the awesome team at Eclipse Graphics. And you can go to their Instagram page @Eclipse Graphics New York to see samples of their work and to contact them there if you're interested in them doing projects for you. And then lastly, those of you interested in making a donation, you can do so through either PayPal, Cash App, or Zelle. All right, and with that, I bid you all good night. Thank you all for tuning in. L. David, much love to you, bro. Lit Poetics, thank you. Everyone, I wish you all a good night and God bless. Peace.